Yesterday we touched on the subject of these two wholesome mental states, hiri-ottappa, shame and fear of wrongdoing. We said that it is also called Sukha Dhamma, the state with the white background, or pure states, pure Dhamma, by which one's physical, verbal, mental behaviors are purified. Also, it is known as Lokapala, the protector or guardian of the world. What is important is to protect or safeguard your own little world so as not to be destroyed. And by safeguarding your own little world, you can safeguard other worlds, the worlds of other people. So it is necessary for everybody to safeguard own little world. So long as we possess these two wholesome mental states, hiri-ottappa, because we are abstaining from unwholesome deeds, akusala and dukkha, immoral deeds, we will be free from harm, which can arise if we do not abstain from akusala and dukkha. So, by doing so, we are purifying our physical, verbal, mental behaviors. We are walking the path of purification. Such is the wonderful quality that shines like a beacon light. Hence this hiri-ottappa is known as Deva Dhamma, the wholesome states, beautiful qualities, shining out like beacon lights. So if only in this world people can possess the hiri-ottappa, even in a medium way, one can realize what is known as Upapada Deva, that is the realization of rebirths in the higher worlds, Deva and Brahma worlds. And one can occupy in this very life eminent position, such is known as Sammuti Deva, occupying with the ability of occupying or with the chance of occupying eminent positions in this world. Such things happen in the beginning of this world when people appointed somebody who possesses these beautiful qualities as the head of state or king or emperor, to occupy this eminent position. Such is the result of hiri-ottappa. Now, as for us who are following the path of Satipatthana, the way of mindfulness, we are free from dukkha, unwholesome, immoral deeds, because we are in possession of hiri-ottappa, shame and fear of wrongdoing. In this case, shame and fear of detesting and fearful of losing one's mindfulness, one's practice. And understanding is one can, with this practice, by purifying one's physical, verbal, mental behaviors, one can realize another rendering of Deva Dhamma, namely Visuddhi Deva, the stage of purity, by purifying one's physical, verbal, mental behaviors. Because we are following this path of purity, we are following this path of Visuddhi Deva, the stage of purity. So, by so doing, we are able to purify our physical, verbal, mental behavior, besides having the opportunity of occupying eminent positions by abstaining from immoral deeds and performing sucharitas, moral deeds. As for this wholesome mental states, hiri-ottappa, shame and fear of wrongdoing, hiri means detesting to commit immoral deeds. shameful of doing immoral deeds. Ottappa means fear or being frightened of committing immoral deeds, such as Hiri-ottappa in brief. As for Dutaritas, immorality, there are of 10 kinds. 3 physical misconduct, 4 verbal misconduct, and 3 mental misconduct, misdeed. As for the first 3 kinds of physical misconduct, they are namely killing, taking one's life, and secondly, taking what is not given, stealing, and thirdly, sexual misconduct, having illegal relationship with others, somebody else's spouse. So, abstaining from them is observing the precepts, the 3 out of 10 times, 3 physical conduct. If you are not abstaining, if you are committing them, then you are committing these 3 physical misconduct, kaya dushritas. Because it is committed physically, it is known as kaya dushrita. So, knowing this, that they are immoralities, one abstains from committing these things, being shameful and fearful of committing them, is said to be in possession of Hiri-ottappa. If you are fearful, if you are shameful and fearful of doing these things, that means you are in possession of Hiri-ottappa, 2 wholesome mental states. Especially in this case, kaya dushritas, physical misconduct. If you commit them, you are bound to have you are bound to meet with danger. First of all, the danger of self-blame, adanuvārabhaya. You will blame yourself for doing things, because you know yourself, you know what you are doing. So you blame yourself for having done immoral deeds. Then comes paranuvārabhaya. It is blame by the society, by the community, or by other people. Other people will criticize you, blame you, because you have done misconduct. Then you are liable to be disciplined by the authorities if you transgress any regulations laid down by the state, such as danda bhaya. And then, in the end, if you have committed these things, you will fall into the unpleasant states known as dukkhati bhaya. All these things are dangerous things. If you don't abstain from these physical misconduct, you are committing misconduct, all these dangers will come to you. So, out of these 3 physical misconduct, killing or taking one's life is the result of impatience, dosa, anger. And as for the second one, taking what is not given, has its root in greed. And as for the third one, sexual misconduct also has its root in lobha, greed. And not seeing the flaws in them, not knowing that they are immoral, will lead you to moha and delusion. So you'll be committing, if you commit these 3 physical misconduct, you are said to be committing the coarse forms of misconduct. They are the nearest internal enemies. Outside enemies, external enemies are not so dangerous. The internal enemies are more dangerous. So if these internal enemies can bring you danger, if you abstain from these things, then there will be no danger coming to you. They are like enemies. If you have enemies, then you won't have any peace. You won't be free from enemies. That means we are bound to meet with danger. So, having this hiri-ottappa, shame and fear of wrongdoing, in this case physical misconduct, we abstain from doing this. If you abstain from committing this physical misconduct, your physical behaviors will become pure and blameless. As for the second category, namely vachidocharika, verbal immoral deeds, they are, first of all, false speech and malicious talk, harsh speech, indulging in harsh speech, with harsh relationship with other people, and indulging in meaningless talk which is not concerned with the Dhamma, which is meaningless. So all these things make up the four kinds of verbal immoral conduct. This indulging in false speech or speaking falsely also is undesirable. And as for the second one, indulging in malicious speech, trying to divide people, instead of making friends, causing them to be friendly, you are causing them to be enemies by indulging in malicious speech and harsh speech, instead of speaking in a sweet manner, in a friendly manner. Such things are prevalent in the world. So all these verbal misconduct are detestable things. So one has got to be ashamed and afraid of committing these things. One should possess hiri-ottappa, shame and fear of wrongdoing. One should detest indulging in such undesirable speech, wrongful speech. And also, one should also detest the unwholesome results ensuing from such verbal misconduct. One should also be able to abstain from them by intellectual reasoning. If one does not know how to detest them or how to be afraid of them, then one will be indulging in this wrongful speech, and such thing will bring you unwholesome results. Such are the physical aspect of wrongdoing. And as regards the third category, namely mental misconduct, they are, first of all, covetousness, called abhijja, wishing to acquire other people's properties by illegal means, which is rooted in greed, lobha. Then comes vyabhara, ill will, wishing to destroy others, cause suffering in others, wishing to cause harm in others. And these things are undesirable things. And also, thirdly and finally, we have this wrong view, micchadeti, such as not believing in karma and karma result, such as even if you do good, you will not get good result. Even if you do bad, you will not get bad result. And once your body breaks up and dies, that's the end of it. Holding extreme materialistic view, the view of annihilation, such as micchadeti, wrong view. And all these things are the three aspects of mental wrongdoing. One has got to understand that they are detestable, they are fearful. And by knowing that, one abstains from this misconduct. And by abstaining them, you are bound to realize positive results. Though one may not know that this is good or bad, one may not know which is good and which is bad. And if we commit Devacharitas, then one is bound to become impure, lack of purity. One's behavior will become coarse and detestable and crude. If we speak, if we commit, if we do speak or think about these detestable, unwholesome things, will we become inferior or superior? Will we become uplifted or lowered? We have to think about it. Whether it'll lead to malleability, softness, gentleness, or crudeness. Will it be polite or impolite? Cultured or not cultured? So, these things are detestable. If they are detestable, they cannot be affable. Nobody will recognize these behaviors as superior, uplifting. Whatever is done will lower your status, so you become inferior. And that's why the Devacharitas is given another name, Papa, in short. Wrongdoing by body, speech and mind. They are inferior, detestable, such as hiri. And being afraid of it, being fearful of committing these papa, wrong deeds, is ottappa. So these are the special, these characteristics, the natural characteristics of hiri and ottappa, namely detesting to do wrongful things. That is the natural characteristic of hiri, and fearful or being frightened of committing wrong things is the natural characteristic of ottappa. We have said that, given the analogy of these hiri ottappa, as for the hiri, it is like a blob of iron smeared with excreta. Although one wishes to take this blob of iron because it is smeared with undesirable things, we do not want to hold this blob of iron because we detest this thing which is smearing the block of iron. As for the second one, the iron which is heated up to become red hot. Although we want to hold or want to take this block of iron, because we are afraid of getting heated, getting burned, we don't touch it. So too with the Devacharitas, because they are detestable and they are fearful, we abstain from committing these things. Especially, we do not wish to gain these negative results, unwholesome results. And such gives rise to the function of hiri ottappa as tisam akarana rasa. That means not doing. Not doing is the function of hiri and ottappa. As much as one detests and fear, one detests and have fear of doing wrongful things, one will not commit such things. One will abstain from doing it. This comes automatically as a result, an obvious result of hiri ottappa, that is the function of not committing. Though one may wish to commit these unwholesome deeds, because one detests and fear of wrongdoing, like the iron blocks. The first block, you don't want to take it because it's dirty. You detest it. And as for the second iron block, which is red hot, you shrink, withdraw from it because you don't want to get heated. Such is the manifestation of Hiri Ottappa, shrinking or withdrawing from unwholesome physical, verbal, mental deeds, so that they become cultured, pure, gentle and affable. So such is the manifestation of Hiri Ottappa, shrinking or withdrawing from immoral deeds. Among many causes for the arising of Hiri Ottappa, the approximate cause lies in, first, as for the Hiri, self-respect or self-consideration. This is the nearest cause for the possession of the moral shame. And as for Ottappa, fear of wrongdoing, the approximate cause is respect or consideration for others, giving priority to others' welfare. That can cause the Ottappa to arise. So these are the approximate causes of Hiri and Ottappa. Is that whoever is wise enough to have enough understanding to respect oneself, one will detest doing unwholesome deeds, which will give rise to unwholesome results. Because if we commit unwholesome things, we will become inferior, we will lower our status. So we will try our best not to do wrongful things, not to do wrongful things. That is the result of having self-respect or self-consideration. Nobody will share unwholesome things. Nobody else will come and share. If you do unwholesome things, you will get unwholesome results. One has got to understand the quality of one's life. Such is the result of Hiri. Having self-consideration, self-respect. So as much as one has self-respect, one will abstain, one will be careful not to commit unwholesome deeds, wrongful things. And if we do that, then the function of Hiri Ottappa also will be manifested in you. That is, you will withdraw or you will shrink from doing these unwholesome things, so that your physical, verbal, mental behavior will become pure, graceful, cultivated, and affable. When one is committing unwholesome deeds, there is no privacy. Don't think that nobody knows what you are doing or what you have done. In this world, there are guardians, other people watching you, powerful people who have powers, and all these people will know what you are doing. Although ordinary people may not know, but such people will know, because there are guardians, there are powerful people, powerful beings, and they will understand, or they will know that you are doing something. They will blame you. In this way, having regard or consideration for others, you abstain from, you are fearful of committing unwholesome deeds. Such is the result of Ottappa. Knowing that these things are detestable things, that you abstain from doing by abstaining from doing unwholesome deeds, not only that you safeguard yourself, but you are also safeguarding others. Others are bound to realize the benefit of your practice, of your of the possession of Hiri-Ottappa, abstaining from tertiary dust. As its expression, Pinyaya Adanam Rekanto Param Rekati. That means if you are able to safeguard yourself with the power of reasoning, with the power of reason, you are automatically safeguarding others. By safeguarding yourself, by looking after yourself, by reasoning with the reason, with reason, you are able to safeguard others as well. So others also will be protected by not being harmed. As for human beings, they should not do things selfishly. They must have regard for the society, for the community, and you must look for the welfare of others. Such is the manifestation of metta, loving kindness. Whatever you do, you have to think about the welfare of other people, which is very important. If one cherishes to do things in this way, one will always be doing things not to harm others, instead for the welfare of others. Such is the manifestation of compassion, sympathetic feeling, having compassion towards others, so that others are not harmed. Such is giving priority or consideration towards others, welfare for the sake of others, safeguarding others, protecting others with compassionate feeling, so that others are not affected. By abstaining from unwholesome deeds, one is not only protecting oneself but also protecting others. Such is given by this expression, Karunaya Param Rekhanto Atanam Rekati. With a compassionate feeling, by protecting or safeguarding oneself, one safeguards and protects others. Knowing that these two charitas, unwholesome deeds, are detestable and fearful, especially the results of these things are fearful, detestable, one should possess what is known as Vijja, knowledge, and Charana, conduct, compassionate feeling. All these things should be possessed by everybody, so that one can become a human being. One will be behaving like a human being, and more than average human being. When one comes to possess these two things, Vijja and Charana, one will be able to possess reason. One will be able to reason out whether an undertaking, a task is docilita, sucilita, wholesome deed or unwholesome deed, whether they are affable or detestable. And if one possesses Hiri-Ottappa, shame and fear of wrongdoing, one will abstain from these unwholesome deeds, so that one's physical, verbal, mental behaviors will become pure and cultured, and peaceful, and stable, and affable. At the same time, one will not be harming others. Others are said to be safeguarded. As human beings, as we become human beings, we should have compassionate feeling towards the society, towards others, by possessing these two wholesome mental states, Vijja and Charana, knowledge and conduct, compassionate feeling, so that one can safeguard others with the possession of these two things, Vijja and Charana. So, as much as one has consideration for others, compassionate feeling towards others, one is bound to feel happy and peaceful. Otherwise, one will not feel happy and peaceful. Therefore, these Hiri-Ottappa, the two things, to possess two things, we need Vijja Charana also, knowledge and conduct or compassionate feeling, so that one can cultivate not only ourselves but also the society by cherishing and appreciating these. If one does not possess these two things in a balanced manner, vajracharana, knowledge and conduct, then these adhamma, non-dhamma things will take the upper hand, will overwhelm us. If one possesses one and one does not possess another, then there will be no balanced possession of these two things. Then one will not be able to reach one's goal. So, in order that one will not allow these non-dhammas, dukkhacitas, to arise, and so that also one will reach the desired goal, everybody's responsibility is to possess these two things, vicca and charana, so that by safeguarding oneself, one safeguards others, and conversely, by safeguarding others, one safeguards oneself. Irrespective, this should be the responsibility of everybody, irrespective of race, religion, creed, sex. And this will be continued tomorrow. That's all for today. Sa